Hot teacher seduces rich co-worker for her dream of a wealthy life. The film opens by introducing a genial team of colleagues gathering to celebrate Christmas. Among them is Elizabeth High, a dedicated member who has been working with the team for a year. Elizabeth, harboring a deep desire to find a life partner, decides to make a significant change in her life by tendering her resignation as a teacher. However, her plans take an unexpected twist when she returns home to find out that her boyfriend has uncovered her scheme to take his money. As a consequence, Elizabeth is forced to surrender everything he has given her, including the car. This unforeseen turn of events compels her to reevaluate her life choices, pushing her back into the workforce. Upon her return to work, Elizabeth is cheerfully greeted by her colleague, Amy, who encourages her to become more involved in the student's school life. Amy sees an opportunity for Elizabeth to find fulfillment beyond her romantic aspirations. However, their conversation is abruptly interrupted by Lynn, another colleague who interjects with an offer to buy coffee. During a coffee break, Elizabeth openly shares her primary objective of finding a man who can provide financial support. This goal has been driving her for the past 3 months, yet her attempts have been consistently thwarted as the men she meets quickly discern her intentions. Despite her persistence, Elizabeth finds herself encountering men who are too clever for her own schemes. A few days later, in Amy's classroom, students engage in hushed discussions on their chosen topics. Elizabeth, adopting an attitude as if it were her last day, neglects her work responsibilities. Instead, she opts to play movies to ensure the students don't disrupt her nap. This unorthodox approach to teaching catches the attention of Amy, who is not particularly impressed with Elizabeth's teaching style. Meanwhile, Russell, the gym teacher, attempts to establish a connection with Elizabeth, but she dismisses him, deeming him unsuitable for her plans. Undeterred, Elizabeth returns to the classroom with a somewhat rebellious attitude. However, her mood takes an unexpected turn when she notices the new teacher sporting an expensive watch. Intrigued, she sees him as a potential candidate and endeavors to get closer to him, unknowingly setting the stage for a series of events that will challenge her initial motives. Yet, her newfound interest takes an unexpected hit when Scott, the new teacher, casually shares a picture of his ex-girlfriend, triggering Elizabeth's insecurities about her own appearance. After the school day concludes, Elizabeth visits a plastic surgery clinic to admire the doctor's expertise. However, when the time comes to settle the bill for the services rendered, everything unravels. At this moment, a student announces a potential money-making opportunity by cleaning cars over the weekend, with the potential to earn up to $6,000. This revelation prompts Elizabeth to approach the curious principal, who questions whether she genuinely only shows movies and does nothing else in her role. In response, Elizabeth swiftly changes the subject, diverting the principal's attention to the dolphins surrounding the room. Seizing the opportunity, the principal decides to replace Amy with Elizabeth to oversee the car wash. Elizabeth's attire proves to be an attraction, drawing in more customers in various aspects, including the attention of a wealthy teacher. However, Amy, keenly observing Elizabeth's actions, notices her taking a portion of the proceeds for herself. Amy reports this to the principal, who is initially in disbelief. The principal hesitates, asserting that Elizabeth is a good person due to her fondness for dolphins, and deems it an inconvenient time and place to address the matter. Meanwhile, Elizabeth is working hard to earn Lynn's trust and capture Scott's attention, mirroring Amy's efforts. As the parent-teacher conference commences, concerned parents inquire about why their children only seem to watch movies in Elizabeth's class. To evade consequences, Elizabeth skillfully claims that it's part of her exclusive curriculum. In a surprising turn of events, one parent requests Elizabeth to watch their son, offering a bribe to seal the deal. This sparks a new money-making idea in Elizabeth's mind. Over the next few days, Elizabeth cuts costs wherever possible and explores various avenues to earn money, including collecting garbage for exchange. Despite her efforts, the funds are still insufficient, Meanwhile, Amy impresses Scott, and as the party unfolds, Russell attempts to introduce himself again. However, Amy flees upon spotting Scott, who delivers distressing news. He is interested in Amy. In response, Elizabeth asserts that Amy is solely driven by a desire for money, leaving Scott taken aback by these unexpected words. After the students depart, two teachers linger in the hall. Russell takes the opportunity to share a bit about himself. As a new day begins, Elizabeth heads to the store, where she encounters a student's parents who invite her to dinner. Seizing the opportunity, Elizabeth takes full advantage, indulging in everything, even resorting to stealing a dolphin figurine. On the following day, Lynn extends an invitation to Elizabeth for a teacher's concert, though initially uninterested. However, her attitude changes when Scott announces his participation in the event. Unbeknownst to Elizabeth, Scott plans to dedicate his song to Amy. During the ride home, Lynn suggests a playful tease by removing the title of Best Teacher of the Year from Amy. Despite these dynamics, students are expected to stick to their usual study routine to maintain motivation. In the teacher's lounge, Elizabeth offers special rewards to her colleagues. The newly formed couple, Scott and Amy, share tales of their adventures, with Elizabeth persistently attempting to capture Scott's attention. Amy, reaching her limit, tries to gather information on Elizabeth's alleged drug use from another student, aiming to report it to the principal and have her expelled. However, the principal is skeptical, especially after receiving a dolphin figurine as a gift. Amy needs to ease off, realizing that her attempts to bother Elizabeth are futile, as the students remain unaware of any pertinent information. In a strategic move, Elizabeth arranges a meeting with an employee from the American Department of Education, feigning interest in a job opportunity. After consuming alcohol, her plan succeeds, leading the employee to his office with hopes of an intimate encounter. Capitalizing on the situation, Elizabeth discreetly administers a sleeping pill, prompting the employee to rest. While he is away, she discovers an upcoming test for the students. After a month, Amy actively seeks the person who stole her wig, and the principal publicly declares Elizabeth as the competition winner. Elizabeth is elated as it means she can finally afford an upgrade. However, before proceeding, she learns about Amy's upcoming trip to camp with Scott and the children. Seizing an opportunity, Elizabeth rubs a liquid on an apple to trigger Amy's allergies, compelling Scott to accompany her instead. Unaware that Amy has switched their desks, Elizabeth calls a handyman, pretending to have lost her keys inside a drawer. In a twist of fate, Amy discovers the misplaced wig and just needs to contact the foundation worker who promised to help her. Meanwhile, during their day together, Scott opens up to Elizabeth about his aversion to slavery, and it concludes with an unexpected and peculiar intimacy in their clothes. Elizabeth records the encounter on her phone, but she remains unimpressed by the whole scenario. In a somewhat unconventional suggestion, she recommends that Scott try it without clothes next time. As Scott prepares for bed, Elizabeth leaves the room and encounters Russell, who appears a bit downcast. Russell learns about Amy's activities and expresses his disappointment. Conversely, Amy receives a tape from Elizabeth that leaves her speechless, adding another layer of complexity to the unfolding events. During the tour, Garrett attempts to approach one of the girls, but the situation turns into laughter, and he swiftly retreats. Elizabeth pursues him to clarify his mistake. To generate envy, she hands over his underwear and publicly announces in front of all the students and teachers that she spotted Garrett surrounded by 8th grade girls. Russell, in this moment, realizes who genuinely assisted him. As everyone prepares to leave, Amy intervenes, determined to do whatever it takes to get Elizabeth fired. She has already called the commission for this purpose. Upon reaching home, Elizabeth bribes a significant figure to show the department employee incriminating evidence. Consequently, on the day of the commission, the employee is compelled to support Elizabeth's side. By this time, Elizabeth is aware that her desk has been tampered with. Exploiting the situation, she mentions the presence of a teacher among them who uses drugs. Swiftly, the police discover a baggie in Amy's desk, leaving her in shock. As the school year progresses, the principal announces that Amy, the teacher, is leaving the school. Amid these events, Elizabeth reevaluates her life values. She decides to distance herself from Scott and opts to approach Russell, admitting her feelings for him while realizing that money is not the sole purpose of life. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Black's Movie Recaps for more exciting videos. Until next time.